Good day, everyone. I'm Anna Spinskaya, and I'm hosting this live program. Welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live programs. Thank you for joining us today. Our channel is dedicated to bringing live performances from international artists from around the world directly to you, our audience, located anywhere in the globe. Today we are presenting the third and the last day of the finals of the colORCHESTRA auditions. This is the fifth session and the concluding one. The next broadcast will be announcing the winners of those auditions. These auditions are presented in partnership with Brilliant Talent Discovery Awards, Progressive Musicians, Core Productions, and Sound Espressio. Now there's a little trailer what this is all about.
colORCHESTRA is hosting international auditions this fall 2022 for voice, strings, winds, and piano for the chance to perform with a live professional orchestra. Our selected performers will be broadcast internationally performing concerti, arias, or songs. Submit your favorite videos of you performing today.
There was the announcement which ran a few months ago, and we had a lot of brilliant, amazing musicians applying for these auditions. They went through the first round of auditions, and now this is the second and the final round. The special thing about this round is everyone performing live from their own locations. Sometimes it's a church or a concert hall or even their home, and we bring to you those programs live. Everyone performing here is performing in this real moment. Now, this program is proudly brought to you by Virtual Concert Hall's production team. Fyodor Spensky, Frane Rusinovich, Chris Au, and Igor Zubkovsky. These are professional musicians who added the incredible skill of production and directing and filming to their skills, and they're our magic hands behind the scenes, helping everyone look and sound their best. Auditionees from many countries are seeking guidance and support from the judges today. Through the live commenting, our judges will come on screen and will comment on everyone's performance right after people perform. And that also provides an opportunity for artists to ask questions, to run something by the judges, and to resolve some burning questions, as we did in the previous our broadcasts of those sessions. The format of these auditions is designed to provide this live interactive experience for all involved. Of course, the auditionees, the contestants of these auditions, the performers, the judges too, are very interested in connecting and asking questions from the musicians who perform in those auditions. And of course, we invite you, our supportive audience, to be an involved and active part of these auditions. Please open the chat on whichever platform you're watching this, and write us your comments and your questions and everything. We'll bring them on the screen, and participants will be able to respond. Music is a unique language of human interaction, so we want to invite everyone to be part of that active interaction and to make friends, to make connections and long-lasting collaborations for their future. And now, very briefly, who are the people and the organizations involved in organizing those auditions? Core Production was founded in Chicago in 2013. This company brings opera to audiences through use of non-traditional venues, staging, translations, and other ways of connecting with the audience in non-traditional new ways. Brilliant Talent Discovery Awards is a company in Singapore which was founded and dedicated to seeking and promoting talents through a variety of events. They organize master classes, tours, competitions, and many other different events. Progressive Musicians is a company based in New York, and it is an organizer of many live events, competitions, and concerts, and staging events in prestigious venues like Carnegie Hall. Virtual Concert Halls is an internet TV broadcaster, providing artists with a virtual stage and with an ability to reach audience beyond the walls of conventional concert halls. Sound Espressiva Global Competition is an online live-streamed competition which combines competitive environment and live performance experience for all.
No matter where you are or who you are, music connects us all. We started with a dream, but now we are paving the future. Welcome to the Sound Espressiva Global Competition. Fully virtual, yet bringing musicians closer together than ever before, now on a global scale. True live, inclusivity, diversity, connection, community, an extraordinary array of judges. Get noticed by companies all over the world. Prizes, scholarships, performance opportunities. Apply to be a part of the most exciting congregation of artists like nothing you've ever seen before. We guarantee quality and leave no musician behind. We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage.
The goal and the purpose of these auditions is to encourage, to nurture, and to empower musicians in their task of being proactive about sharing their art and developing their careers. Together with all these companies involved, we're providing opportunities for musicians to discover their unique artistic voice, to take initiative in their own hands, to present themselves in their own terms, and to carve their own career paths. Today, musicians from around the world take central stage for the final round of live competing for this wonderful opportunity to perform in the upcoming concerts with the Western New York Chamber Orchestra, which is collaborating with the rest of us on organizing these auditions. The concerts are scheduled for February 17th and 19th of 2023, just a couple of months out. And the orchestra will be conducted by their music director, Glen Cortese. And now, with this, I would like to start introducing our judges. So the musicians and the backstage are ready to perform, and the judges are eagerly waiting more surprises, more wonderful performances, and to connect with the contestants and to provide the feedback helpful for them for their growth and future success. So I'll start by inviting Gevorg Sargsyan, conductor and cellist. Gevorg, great pleasure to see you back in with us. You're muted. Please unmute yourself so we can hear your greeting.
Sorry, I'm still getting used to it. Good evening, my time, and good morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for having me. How's it going?
It's wonderful to have you back, and we're so looking forward to your feedback to everyone. And just a brief introduction to everyone who's just joining us. Gevorg Sargsyan is a Singapore-based conductor, originally from Armenia. And Gevorg conducted many orchestras around the world, and he established many events for musicians, master courses and tours, and he's visiting professor of the University of Philippines College of Music, and was recently appointed an artistic director of music hubs with the Ministry of Culture of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So hopefully we'll be expanding our reach to the audiences in Saudi Arabia. Is that true?
Why not? It will take some time, but maybe we can start regionally in the Middle East. There are many talented musicians here. And yeah, why not? They will be soon quite a big names we haven't heard yet.
Yeah, it's so really inspiring to start looking for new talents in new places and new audience as well. That's an exciting project you're involved in. Okay, let's invite our second judge to the stage, and I would like to introduce Johanna Moffitt. She's an American soprano. Welcome, Johanna. It's a great pleasure to see you with us. You're muted too.
You're muted.
So please unmute yourself. And Johanna is located in Chicago, where she established the Court Productions Opera Company, supporting young rising stars in opera. And she is a singer with a great success on various stages as an opera performer and a theater performer, and a prolific producer of variety of events, including video events and in-person in concert hall events. Johanna, it's a great pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you, Gevorg. Hello to both of you. I'm currently in Manhattan, so I apologize for any construction that you may hear in the background. This last session, I'm so excited because we've really had such talented people, and I look forward to our future endeavors, because getting to hear people from around the world is such a special treat. We were able to, during COVID, work with artists throughout North and South America, and then all the way out to Hawaii. But this is a little bit more exciting.
Well,
sorry, wait, I said that wrong. I just mean, it's fun to have an international group of musicians that we're working with. It's really fun.
Great, thank you, and thank you for making time to be with us. And I would like to introduce next James Welch, pianist and conductor. James, great pleasure to have you with us. Thank
Great
you.
to be here.
And you're a multifaceted musician too. You're a performer, pianist, and conductor and producer, and you stage operas and Broadway shows, and you work with multitude of collaborators. And your company is also presenting concerts in the venues like Carnegie Hall. So it's a great pleasure and honor to have you joining us today.
It's a great pleasure to be back here again. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm eagerly awaiting the results here. It's a little nerve-wracking, but it's exciting, and can't wait.
It's interesting to hear from a judge that it's nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking for performers too.
Everybody plays so well. It's just it's been a wonderful time just listening to everybody. And yeah.
And thank you so much, our dear judges, for being with us, for being ready, and being paying full attention and giving full support to the musicians. And once again, I would like to invite the audience members to please join our event by opening the chat on any platform wherever you're watching, and giving us your feedback. It's really important for us to feel that connection with the audience behind the screen. And we are on stage. Please create that environment and the atmosphere of the audience in the orchestra of the concert hall. And if you would like to learn more about these events and the future events, please visit the websites, www.soundisperceiva.com or www.coreproductions.org, progressivemusicians.com, and btdawards.com. These are the websites of the companies which put hands together to organize and sponsor those auditions. And now, without further ado, I would like to introduce the first performer of today's morning session, Christina Ebersohl from United States, a violist. She will be presenting Haydn Cello Concerto in C major, arranged for viola in 3 movements. First movement, Moderato. Second movement, Adagio. Third movement, Allegro molto. Christina, I can see that you're ready to take the virtual stage, and we are ready for you. Take it away. Wonderful, bravo, bravo. What a wonderful performance and a rendition of the very famous cello concerto for viola. Congratulations. We're going to invite the judges to provide their comments. Let's start with Gevorg. You have a background in cello and you're a conductor, so take the stage.
Hi, I do. Hi, Christina. Thank you for this performance. Very nice to hear a familiar concerto on cello on a viola. And wanted to ask you what was the cadenza in the first movement. It was not the Haydn cadenza, right? It was I don't know whose cadenza was that. Bashmet, your own.
It was kind of a mix of my own and a couple others that I had found.
Are you laughing because I picked on that? It's it was nice. It was interesting. It was refreshing, to be honest. It's a new first time I hear cadenza like that, but interesting. Look, I wanted to discuss this with you a little bit. You obviously are playing cello concerto on viola, but I understand that viola, many people are playing this concerto on viola, but there are certain things that are very celloistic, and there are some things that, viola can have advantage on. On the third movement, tell me if I'm wrong, but I had a feeling that you were dragging a bit. Is that because of viola, or is it that interpretation, or you just, was a technical issue?
Part of it was I was trying to go for a lighter character as opposed to the more scrubby character just because of the viola sound as opposed to the cello. I feel like the cello can do the scrubby sound better than the viola can.
True.
So I was going for a more light, jubilant character, and I feel like that came across better if I was slightly on the back end of the beat as opposed to on the faster side.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, and you have very supportive, collaborative pianist for that as well, who keep the character very much as you described. So it's usually this is a difficult thing to come across, but bravo. That's pretty much the comment, and I'll leave the floor for the rest of the judges. Thank you for the performance.
Okay, thank you very much. Gevorg for your comments. And Johanna, would you like to go next?
Hi, Christina. I'm Johanna. It's nice to meet you and get to hear you this morning with your amazing collaborative pianist as well. It's really clear to me that you have thought a lot about the character of the piece and how you want the direction of it to go. there's a lot of really beautiful dynamic shifts that you made, and your articulation as well. I noticed you had a lot of intonation problems, and I was just wondering if that's something that you've been working on for a long time.
Yes and no. I mean, intonation is a lifelong goal.
Right? For all of us, isn't it?
Yes. That's usually the first thing when nerves happen is my intonation starts to get a little more shaky.
Hey, you know what? I can totally relate to that as a singer. Well,
Can we all not?
I would encourage you to continue to do the work because your musical ideas are really spectacular, and I would like to hear you, really get to put them forth in the way that you want to. So brava, and brava to both of you. Thank you so much for your hard work today.
Wonderful. Thank you, Johanna, and thank you, Christina, for being interactive with the judges. Now, let's hear from James.
Bravo. I really enjoyed hearing this, especially on viola. I've accompanied this concerto a number of times, but I've never heard it on viola, and I liked it. It was neat, and thank you for bringing that to our table here. You play very well. It's obvious that you really love what you're playing, and that second movement, that was just beautiful. I was just dreaming through it. So wonderful. I agree with Johanna. Just like on some tuning things, it was mostly I noticed in the third movement, and it sounded more to me like you just weren't able to get to the center of the pitch all the time when the notes were moving faster. So it just might be something that you got to slow down and retool a little bit. But I mean, there wasn't anything about that I thought was like, ugh, or whatever. But just a few little spots here and there. But I really loved the energy that you bring to it, and just like the whole character and life. And kudos to your pianist as well. The two of you work great together, and she played really well. And bravi. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Christina, do you have any questions or any comments you would like to ask the judges? Maybe run something by them, any burning questions? Previous contestants had some burning questions which they wanted to resolve and use the opportunity.
I have no specific burning questions except for when doing a transcription of a piece from one instrument to another. Do you have any recommendations? This was my first time doing a full transcription, so I would love any advice moving forward.
Wonderful.
Are you telling us that you did it yourself completely, the whole thing?
So I used the Urtext cello edition and went from there and made my own decisions based upon that.
Okay, so it was not just cadenza, because there are a lot of people playing this, concerto on the viola, and I don't really know if everyone is doing their own. I think they're just using the same cello thing, or I don't know. If you did the whole thing, I would say in any transcription you do and playing viola, I think you will come across this situation a lot. Try to capture not just notes, but the real characteristic of the original instrument that you are transcribing from. It doesn't have to be sometimes cello. It can be sometimes an instrument that is far away from, our typical instruments. It can be a Chinese, erhu. And then you want to play something that's written for erhu on viola. And obviously you'll need to think about the character and the colors that instrument has when you do the transcription. So that will be the advice.
Interesting. Anyone else from the judges who would like to add to that?
I could say a few things. Coming from someone who's accompanied a lot of pieces that were, transcriptions. The biggest one, I'm sure you're familiar with the Schubert Arpeggione.
Yes.
For cello, and we've heard it on viola in our first tier here. and I've heard it on flute more times than I can count. And James Galway made it famous for the flute, and it's funny because I learned the flute version first, and then later on played the cello version, and was like, oh, this is how it goes in the original. Like, there were different octave changes. I mean, obviously it was played in a different octave, but like, if it went to a high note, sometimes the flute went to a higher note, or or just like, if there was an arpeggio up, like restarted the arpeggio or something, like, just to facilitate the instrument better. The one thing you never want to do when transcribing is stay so true to the score that it doesn't sound good on your instrument. That could also mean adding an ornament that maybe your instrument can do that another one can't. As long as you keep the spirit of it, like Gevorg was saying. I've played the Bach violin chaconne transcribed by Bassoni for piano more times than I can count now. And obviously, the violin can only play a few rolled notes at a time, where the piano can play a whole bunch of notes. And so there were all these different counter melodies and counterpoints in there that came through that you wouldn't hear if it was just solo violin. And yet, you never lost the whole spirit and primary melody of what was going on through all of it. So it's just a few things that you have to, keep in mind. It's like, does this work well? Great. Does this not work well? Okay, how do we make it work well? And keep it interesting. Can I do a little something? Can I show off a little bit here? Great. Yeah, this sounds good. No, maybe not here. It's a whole bunch of trial and error, but that's the fun of being creative, is that you get to create your own thing. And even as you move forward transcribing, maybe one performance is completely different from the other because it's your transcription, and you can do whatever you want.
Wonderful. Thank you, judges, for giving the suggestions. And just to finish up with Christina's performance, I would like to show a lot of support, Christina, you got from your audience. This is wonderful. There's a lot of people sending you their cheers from, let's see, Schloopy. I don't know who that is, but the person really likes you. Christina, you're amazing. Love Kevin and Diana. And here's another comment, and I'll read it out to you as well. Beautiful and amazing Christina. Good job, Christina, from Jonna Schneider. So there's a lot of comments for you. And thank you to our audience members for being active part of this program and for supporting Christina in her performance. And thank you, both of you, for a wonderful collaboration. And with that, we're going to say goodbye to Christina and her wonderful pianist. And bravo again and wonderful performance. We'll be inviting on stage our next performer, and this will be saxophone player Doron Hazan from Israel and France, and he will be taking the stage with the Glazunov Saxophone Concerto Opus 109 in 3 movements. First movement Allegro moderato, second movement Andante sostenuto, and third movement Allegro. Doron, virtual stage is all yours. Take it away. We're looking forward to your performance. Bravo, bravo, bravo. Doron, you're getting the standing ovation, and this is a wonderful performance. I love this piece, and it's so exciting and fiery and great, great. Let's hear from the judges. Let's see, James, would you like to take the first?
Sure. Well, bravo, and thank you for putting yourself out there with such it's a glorious piece, and it's very difficult. And before I even dig into this, I have to say hats off to the pianist.
Absolutely.
I've played this just a few times, but as you were going into the fugue section of the third movement, I started getting some post-traumatic stress disorder over all those notes, and I'm trying to even remember what I did now, but I know that I never played all of those notes. It's just too many of them, like all those triplets and all that. It's it's crazy. Like you have to be your own editor sometimes. So I mean, I thought the choices you made for that were good. So
bravo to the pianist. Yes.
I can't even remember what I did. I don't think I've played this in close to 10 years. But yeah, a great piece. And a couple of general Glazunov things that I just want to mention. There is a lot to this piece, a lot of layer adding. So it starts out with the great melody, but then there's always another layer that adds in as a counter melody, and then intertwines where maybe then the orchestra's playing it and you're playing the accompaniment, or it's being reinvented as the new melody and highlighted. But but many of the times those melodies come in what I call the rule of threes. So there's the first time, the second time, and the third time, and whether it's the same repeated motive again, or whether it goes somewhere slightly different the second and or third time, it's the job of the performer to really highlight that through the sound. So if it starts one way the first time, then maybe a little bit more the second time, and then bigger the third time, or something different. But I felt like I could have used more of that from you in general, where each time is a little bit different, and then each section has a different color or dynamic range, or even just like a shape or arc. There's a lot of points where and all of those have to have their own distinct character a little bit more. I felt like you were doing it, but I could just use a lot more. More particularly at the end, as it just keeps building. Like there's a new layer, or you trade layers, and it's like who's leading this, and it just has to kind of like wind up all the way to the end. So I just would encourage you to go a lot further with that. It's some really beautiful playing that you're doing, and I'm really glad that you brought this to the auditions today. I enjoyed listening to you.
Thank you, James, very much. Johanna, are you ready to add to James's comments?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Doron, thank you so much. This is such a cool piece. It's been probably 10 years since I've gotten to hear it, and I just love it. And you play it so well. It's such a tough piece too. to build off of what James was saying, yeah, you are a fantastic player, and so if you can give us more, give us more. You know, I want to hear what extremes you can take your instrument to, because, you know, this is really like height of romanticism. Like, you can push it as far as you want to. Yeah, that's what I like. I love how much you love this piece. You can tell, and the two of you playing together, it was spectacular. Seriously, the two of you felt like one team to me, one instrument. So, thank you.
Thank you, Johanna. Gevorg, some concluding comments, please.
Yeah, thank you, Doron. Indeed, I also wanted to mention the collaborative pianist for this piece. I mean, everything is there is no easy really piece, but when it comes to people like Glazunov, it's multiplies, you know. Yeah, I right, like what James was also saying. I just want to highlight a little bit of Glazunov thing as a composer. I mean, you know, he was from Russia, but then he migrated to France, right? All these things, and I think saxophone concerto itself, tell me if I'm wrong, if I recall it correctly, the concerto was written for the instrument when the instrument was not really popular. So it was a lot of experimental process during that time. Saxophone was not yet a solo instrument that was, you know, recognized to be played with orchestra. And with this, Glazunov was really being very bold in his time to come up with this, you know, big clarinet sound. And come up with that. So I would think that aside of all the compliments and great playing of yours, you could tell a little bit of that thing, that this is an instrument that is, I want to distinguish it from the rest of the conventional instruments. I want to distinguish that this is a new, unique, back then it was at least new and unique instrument, and I want to put it on stage to be at pair with the rest of the instruments that are being used for solo repertoire. So aside of that, it was good. It was full of colors. I like that you produced pretty colorful palette of the whole thing, because this piece goes without stop, but there are certain movements in it, and the connection between movements was clear to me at least. And yeah, I appreciate that very much. So thank you.
Thank you, Gevorg. Thank you, all the judges. Now, Doron, would you like to ask any questions? Any comments further you would like to receive from the judges?
Well, I have nothing special to say, but thank you so much for hosting this competition and, you know, allowing us to experiment with this type of live streaming. I did, you know, benefit a lot from this educational process, and now I have a new microphone. So, you know, I couldn't
Wonderful.
be happier.
Wonderful.
What a perks.
Microphone.
Oh, the great perks. All right, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Doron,
Thank you,
for taking the courage to be part of this new way of performing, and even upgrading your equipment for that. I'm sure that'll come quite handy for the future. We're including a lot of virtual opportunities now to our beloved concert halls and performing in the actual venues. Now we can do both, and why not, right? So, thank you, Doron, and thank you to your wonderful accompanist for taking the stage and bringing this concerto here. And with that, we'll be saying goodbye to Doron and concluding our program for this auditions. So Doron's performance, fabulous and glorious performance of this concerto, was the last on the program for the finals of the colORCHESTRA auditions, and we'll be announcing the results of those auditions on December the 10th. We'll announce the broadcast with the results, and that's when we will announce the winners of the auditions, people who will be then invited as soloists to join Western New York Chamber Orchestra and its music director, Glen Cortese, in the concerts in Buffalo and Fredonia on February 17th and 18th. And I want to thank very much our judges. These were some really long sessions, especially yesterday. day. And so this was a very exciting stretch of 3 days of listening to all those fabulous performances from all over the world, different instruments, different approaches, different ages, very different repertoire, some very unusual and some very conventional repertoire. So this was a roller coaster experience, I'm sure, for everyone. And I want to thank you all for your efforts, for your expertise, for your generosity, for putting our hands together, all hands on deck, and organizing these opportunities for musicians. Any closing thoughts, talk?
I just want to say thank you to you, Anna, and your team for making such an incredible experience for all of us. It was a big challenge, I'm sure. So thank you.
It was. And we'll do the shout out to the team right after the concluding words from the judges.
Same. Thank you. Thank you very much. It was really amazing.
Yeah, I know. We'll do the shout out to the team, but I just wanted to do my own shout out because there is so much that goes on behind the scenes that, I mean, almost like, to the extent of heroics, or digital
acrobatics,
cyber heroics, or cyber acrobatics that are going on, like really. And the true magic of it all is that on the front side you can't even tell what's going on or what might be happening.
But that's because that's
this
how they
is
do it
amazing,
well,
and they do it
that
well that it never shows.
And this is the shout out to our fabulous Virtual Concert Halls team of musicians. And as you can see on the screen, the names of our team: Frana Rusinovic, Technical Director; Igor Zubkovsky, General Producer and Show Director; Fyodor Uspensky, Creative Producer and also Show Director; Ante Kudrich, Producer, Show Director; Chris Au, our fabulous host and scriptwriter. And we have 3 more people in the back end preparing the graphics: Mira Dobrovich, Evgeny Sidorov, and Fyodor Uspensky. Thank you guys for your fabulous work, for supporting our productions, and it's really magic what you do in the back end. It's true. And you are also musicians, so the timing of everything you do is also pretty cool because things tend to show up at the right moment in the music. Just because, it's done by musicians. What a joy. And with that, we're going to conclude. This was the program organized for musicians to be able to perform with the orchestras, and we were presenting string players, pianists, vocalists, wind players from different countries from all over the world. And just a quick shout out to the organizers. The Brilliant Talent Discovery Awards based in Singapore, Core Productions based in Chicago, Progressive Musicians based in New York, Sound Espressivo competition based in virtual space all over the place because we have team members from around the world, and Sound Espressivo competition also based virtually. And with this, we're saying goodbye to everyone, and we'll see you on the 10th. Just a few days later. Please join us for the next broadcast where we announce the winners. Have a great day, everyone. And with that, bye.